So specifically an update on federal relief.
And if a presidential disaster is declared, then the
There's 19 because I counted 21.
We'll see if you're right or I'm right. Get that gate.
My grandpa grew up by Hawarden, Iowa, which is about 50 miles south of here. And when him and Grandma set out, they were looking for a place with some good farmland, and that's how they ended up here.
Oh, there they go. See, they can keep going pretty quick. They might not be runners.
When I was really young, probably what I remember most is all the time I spent with my cousins. I mean, we were thick as thieves around here. There's 6 of us running around here. Kids with dirt bikes and jumping gravel piles, and I mean, there was work that was expected of us, but we sure had a lot of fun too. Huh.
So yeah,
Oh.
see, there's Mike hiding under the feed bunk and took a picture anyway.
1988.
This was the same time. He was in the payloader bucket.
Oh.
Somebody was out doing a story.
Some
for
magazine
the
did an
Farmer
article.
magazine.
Was
I
it
think,
Farmer?
I think that's what Grandma had written on the back of this picture. May of 74. Well, and that would have been because 71 is when Bob and Dad both started. They formed their first partnership back then. Yeah.
Oh,
And
I
then
forgot about these stupid corn cribs.
Back then, you know, Chuck and I did everything. I mean, Dad helped when he wanted to and when he could. He did a lot of plowing, stuff like that, mowing. Yeah. But we did pretty much everything ourselves. Plus the neighbors, and we all chopped together, you know, filling silo, baling hay. Yeah, everybody did everything together. But yeah, just like anything else, it just keeps evolving, changing.
Everybody is registered and has a number, and
When I was a kid, I had kids to play with. A mile that way, quarter mile that way, another mile that way. We had all kinds of kids. You know, now all those farms are vacant. Nobody there.
taxes on this farm are approximately $3,802
The 80s were considered probably the worst, other than the dirty 30s, one of the worst times in agriculture. Foreclosures, bankruptcies, rampant inflation.
Every day, 250 farm families go out of existence. 250 today.
The ones that didn't expand and grow, they're all done. They're gone, you know, just all around us. That's kind of the way it grows. I mean, it ain't like, oh yeah, you're really, really big, but you really don't feel that way because it's just survival.
$13,000 per acre going once, going
It's
twice,
sad, but
sold to buyer number one.
it's kind of the way of the world.
Welcome back to Down on the Farm here on Blazin' Country 1050. I'm visiting with Shawn and Mike Feikema, Feikema Farms down by Luverne. Right, gentlemen, we know that you were born and raised on the farm. We know you took a little step away from the farm for a little bit. What drew you back to the farm? When did you know it was a place you wanted to come back to? Was it something you always knew? And what did that transition period look like for you?
So, I guess I would start by saying I always knew I was going to come back. It wasn't whether or not I was going, I had to spread my wings and see if that's what I wanted to do. I mean, there was never any doubt in my mind where I was going to end up. But with that being said, Dad always told us, this is, farming isn't what it used to be. You need to get an education after you get out of high school. I mean, I don't even know if he would have let us come back if we just said we weren't going to college, we just were going to come out of high school and work. I don't know.
I don't know that for certain,
Yeah.
but that was implied.
It was always implied.
Strongly encouraged
Yes.
that for a little
Go
bit.
go
Yep.
broaden your horizon.
Yep. So I just went to a tech school. I went to Ridgewater College up in Wilmer for an ag program. Farm operations and management. That's what I was going to go. 2-year degree, right? And it was a good school, good program. But I learned more in the first year being back farming about all things farming, whether that was putting seed in the ground or marketing or running a business and doing financial statements. Learned more in the first year I was back than I ever did at that 2-year program. And not that 2-year program was bad. It's just, you don't just learn it all from a book.
In the past, to pass on a farm or to become a farmer, you didn't have to be maybe that intentional about it. You just worked with your dad, and if you never left, that's what you did. Now, you've better be pretty intentional if you intend to take over an operation. But you've got to want it, first of all. You've got to have a lot of capital. You've got to be educated in a lot of areas. You've got to have a transition plan in place. And so, if you're not going to keep up with that, you're probably not going to take over the farm. You can't just sit back and let it happen to you because not much has changed between your grandfather and you. Now everything's changed. Somebody's going to farm the acres. Just the question is who, and what kind of job are they going to do, and how do they think about their role as caretakers of the earth.
But we're growing rye as a small grain. We're going to try implement it into feed. This is only our second year doing it. But the reason we're trying to implement it is crop rotation. By introducing another crop, I can reduce my herbicide use because the rye has a natural weed suppression in it. The hard part is finding a way to make it profitable. So small grains, that's why you don't see much of it around here, is because small grains don't dollar up enough. Our land costs are too high to produce a small grain. So we're working on trying to find ways. Hybrid rye is what we're growing, which is a new one that is developed. A very prominent business owner in town once said to me, "Don't you ever forget that all our money comes from the dirt." And they had nothing to do with farming, really. They sold trailers. And there's a lot of other economic things that go on, but it is about agriculture here.
It's about the only game in town. I mean, we've got healthcare, we've got schools, and we've got ag, which drives all that, because you only need healthcare and schools if there's people. And what are the people going to do? Well, most of them are directly or indirectly doing something with ag.
When farmers do well, it's definitely felt within our community. It's felt on Main Street. It's felt at the dealerships. It's felt at the implements. When the farmers do good, that impact is felt with the small businesses. And when the small businesses are doing well, they're capable of giving back to the community. We're able to have a successful fair. We're able to have a great 4th of July fireworks show. It has a really positive impact on local community spirit, community events, community growth.
And then it's Patty, and then Gabriella. I'm just giving you a little warning.
All right, so Dixie's 8 years old, all the way down from Marshall. Oh, it is a tutu.
Oh, you are just adorable. Look at it. I tell you, I don't know very many women that have a wiggle like that.
There are so many boomer farmers around here, like they all farmed. And as they age out and retire, it's a little bit terrifying. You know, we can't really comprehend what does Main Street look like when all these guys are done.
I've seen it so often, you know. There's just not enough people to keep a business in town going. It's the same everywhere. Every small town is fighting to survive.
The town and the health of its ag sector are certainly linked. It's what drives Main Street.
So I did find some of your little tillage layer here.
Oh, yeah.
It's about that deep, so you got, what, about 3-4 inches of tillage, so that would be your spring tillage or vertical till or a disc.
Yep.
When it splits like that. My name is Jody DeYoung Hughes, and I work for the University of Minnesota, and I help farmers with like reducing tillage and compaction and saving their soil. And so when you're not doing a lot of tillage, your earthworm population will pick up. Mm-hmm. And when the rain hits this, these earthworm channels help get that water in quickly. And so does the residue. So 150 years ago, when we started farming the prairie, we were told you need to produce food, and lots of it.
All through the 20s, high-paying wheat was the goal.
The main piece of equipment that we had is the moldboard plow. You'll see it in the movies and in books and things like that. And what it did was turn the soil all the way over. So now all the residue is buried and there's nothing on top. So the top of the soil was very exposed and not protected. And then towards the late 20s, we had a lot of rainfall and they started going into areas that were usually too dry for crops, but we had these wet years. And so they went in and started tilling them and they got great yields.
New settlers came, impressed with the rains and bumper crops.
And then in the 30s, we had that big drought, and I think everybody has seen pictures of this, but now it's dry, and those soils aren't protected with that prairie anymore.
For those on the southern plains, dust would become a way of life. Their land, the Dust Bowl.
The equipment that we had then was very limited. What we knew about farming was very limited as well.
So what they were doing was broadacre tillage on a massive scale. And I think society often wants to shame that farmer or that practice, when the reality was they were doing the best they could with what they had at the time.
We've learned a lot. And because of the weather extremes that we're getting now, farmers are starting to understand that they need to protect that soil.
When I came back from college, we were doing the full tillage, trying to eliminate as many passes as we could, but still full tillage. The real turning point was 2014, and it was weather.
That's right, yeah. It looks like it's going to be sort of a bumpy ride this weekend. We are looking at some more rainfall.
Catherine, Chopper 5 was there as we tracked the flooding in Luverne in the very southwest corner of the state. The Rock River has spilled over its banks. It's flooded a baseball field and the buildings surrounding it, as you see there.
Flooding was widespread along the Rock River that passes through town. Main Street into Luverne was closed, and several residents and farms were either surrounded or...
We didn't see that years ago. We did not get them great big rains as often. 5-6 inches at a crack, you know.
It's dumped with more rain overnight, as we mentioned. It's causing a lot of problems there.
When you have these big rainstorms and you have full tillage, what can happen is you have less of those aggregates, those larger pieces, and you have more individual soil particles, and they fill in all the pore space. So when you get this pounding rain on there, it will seal the soil so that the rain can't get in. And if you're on a slope, then the rain starts running down the hill and you get really large erosion events.
Southwestern Minnesota, where a dam broke at Blue Mound State Park in Luverne on Sunday.
When you're tilling, 8-10 inches deep, that's loose soil. It's gonna move. It's gonna cut right through it, right down to where you were. It's gonna take it away.
Dayton has extended a state of emergency for the next 30 days.
With an estimated $9.2 million.
It was a tough year in watching, generations of dirt wash down the creek, but also, I was sick of trying to, feel good about myself because I went and cleaned out that ditch that had all the silt in it and hauled it back up the hill and filled in the gully. To watch it all do the same thing over again the next year.
Major road closures and the evacuation of
Yeah, 5 Eyewitness News reporter Kate Renner has more on the
right here in Minnesota. There's skepticism, though, amongst farmers and ag experts that the crop will meet the expectations.
Looking at the aftermath of that and seeing what it did to our fields, to the land, I mean, there was obviously a conversation about what are we going to do, but it was really one of those moments where we both knew we had to do something different. Mr. Peterson, how are you? It's a tough decision. It wasn't as easy as saying, well, we just don't till anymore. We just go out and we buy a strip tiller and we make these strips in the fall and we're just gonna roll in with a planter and plant on top of these strips that we didn't touch. You wanna do what?
So to build a healthier soil, it's kind of like tools in a toolbox. You can pick different ones. And one of the main ones that I work with farmers on is reducing the amount of tillage.
I mean, that just flew in the face of everything that I'd been really taught.
But I just wanted to find out if you were willing.
You know, that takes courage to be the guy that says, you know, I know we've been turning the earth black for a long time, but we're gonna try something different now.
Farming is a family-run business. And what your dad did and your grandpa did before him means a lot. And it is very hard to break tradition.
It's the immersion, right? You're immersed in it. It shapes who we are. It shapes what we do. And when you do that from the age of 3, being by your dad's side, doing everything together, that's how you grow to love it. I come from a line of very progressive farmers. But this was something so different for this area, you know, because we always told ourselves, oh yeah, you can do that kind of stuff on sandy, light ground. You can't do it on this heavy clay. But I guess we became enough pushed over that ledge with the events of 14 that was like, we're gonna try it. We were not the progressive ones that were the first to do strip till and this kind of stuff. This was going on with a couple other farmers who I have an incredible amount of respect for, you know, because they've always been pushing the limit of, can we be better? How can we push the industry to better itself?
Shawn's a thinker, and because of his thoughtfulness, he saw it, and he saw the advantages of it, and he went for it.
I don't think anything slips past those two guys. They were better than me and Chuck, actually. You know, they, I don't know how to say it, but maybe I think they're smarter.
I want every farmer to know the value of soil and to protect it, because we want to stay a productive farming community, and saving our soil is the way to do it. So, what I can find here. See how easy that is to get through the soil? These guys are doing their job. And, you know, we're just learning how we can start working with Mother Nature instead of having her as our adversary all the time. You have worms all over the soil. This is really good.
For us, what we noticed after maybe the first year, you probably don't notice a whole lot of difference, other than what sticks in your head is just the struggle of the switch. Yeah. No, I'm serious. Yeah. But because you don't see, it's not like make this change, see this difference tomorrow. This is a long-term thing. But, you know, the things that we noticed right away was, number one, we didn't have the erosion. I felt like we were seeing less gullying, less washing. And then after year 3, 4, you're starting to see this water infiltration is starting to pick up. And I think now that we're at year 7, year 8, you're starting to see the soil is starting to look like we just, you know, it's still got some work to do, but we're really starting to see that change in the dirt. Not only is the residue that we leave on top healthy and help stop erosion, but also just the soil itself being able to absorb all that water like a sponge. It's just different. When you stop tilling, the soil begins to change. We started in the fall of 15, so 16 was our first crop off of strip till. I think we did a couple thousand acres maybe the first year. We didn't do everything. And with the results we saw after that, we were really pleased. So we just kind of said at that point, we're jumping in whole hog and we're gonna do this. So I'm grateful for where we're at today. And I believe, well, I mean, I've seen in just recent days the difference of what we've done. That's gratifying. Look at the corn yield here. That's insane. That was pushing 300. I've only seen 300 a couple of times in my life. You know, we take care of the land and it'll take care of us. We saw a 30 bushel corn yield increase the year after small grain. So now the system's starting to work, and that's really just that biodiversity in the soil.
The cows that graze it eat those radishes.
You can see the changes already happening.
Some of it is just taking a risk, right? You project best you can and you start small. My dad and Bob were the same way. They were always trying to do a better job with the resources they had. The greatest concern that I have for the future of farming is not telling the story. If we don't tell our story, somebody's going to paint it in a light that is very unflattering. And are we perfect? No, absolutely not. We have things we need to work on. We have things we need to do to be better. But I think that's every industry, that's every career, that's every person, right? We're not perfect, we've got flaws, but we're doing everything we can to be the best stewards of the earth God's given us. And we're trying to do it through generations and generations of mentorship and passing it on. Doing it better for the next generation so there's more there for them than there was when I got it. Good. You know, how do we leave more behind than what we started with? How do we leave the world a better place? So those are, you know, probably the two things. I've said this before. There's two things that a farmer generally thinks about when he gets up in the morning, and it is, how can I do more with less, and how can I pass this to the next generation better than I got?